To the Valleycast, a place where all good feelings last. We can hardly wait for what's in store today. Lee may cry and Steve may shout. Elliot's patience may run out. Karate chops by Joe. Let's find out. Here's the show.
Wow, that's it.
That's
I was
Love
waiting
it.
for like the
Beautiful.
beat to drop at the end.
That
That's the
is-
show.
Yeah. That was beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that was,
Who was that
submitted by
by?
Finding Emo,
Finding Emo.
and it's called the Valleycast intro.
Good
This is very
job.
good. Very
Finding
good.
Emo. That was wonderful.
That little
Thank
fish
you.
went through a little bit of a
I'm
dark
gonna
period when he
cry.
lost his mom.
He did.
Yeah, well, of course that you did.
And you hate to
Of-
see it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a natural thing that happens.
Guys,
Fuck it
welcome
up.
When
to
your
the
fish mom
Valleycast.
goes missing.
Yeah.
Fuck, we want to bring the funny. Oh, fuck.
Oh.
We won a reality show, guys.
Oh my god.
A comedy.
A reality comedy
Competition
competition
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We
should
won
preface
it.
this by saying we haven't been together for 4 days at least.
Well, this is the
Since we
first
won.
piece of content going up after everyone in the
After
world knows
everyone
we
in the
won
world
the TV
knows.
show.
We haven't even really talked about it
No,
internally yet.
not
Yeah,
internally. No,
Lee's right. We haven't seen
we haven't
each
seen
other.
We all went back to our caves and didn't know how to react.
Yes.
Yeah, we all kind of
panicked and
Truly, it hasn't hit me
Did our...
yet
No, me neither.
in any way.
So
Well,
I
why don't
suppose-
we go around? Why don't we start? I mean, unless there's housekeeping that needs to be done, should
I
we
don't
just
think there's
go
any
around?
housekeeping.
And also, I feel like I'm real loud. I feel like I'm a little.
I mean, the only
Loud
housekeeping
in my head,
is
if-
for all of you millions and millions of people that are here now after finding out that we won Bring the Funny on NBC
Welcome,
season 1. Patreon.com/thevalleyfolk.
Great
Why
plug,
don't you go
Joe.
right over there to help us out? If we get up to 5,000 patrons, Elliot will do something to his head.
Yeah.
I didn't like
That's
that at all.
I didn't
That's
like that
awful.
either.
Nightmare.
Well, thank you for joining us,
That's a
everyone that just
nightmare.
left. All the new people.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's try that again.
I
So-
hope we have enough distractions that it keeps us from being deer in the headlights and actually having to talk about the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was too many Heigls from a past Valleycast
Yes,
episode.
we
For
have-
all of you millions of people that are here from seeing us
Millions of
win
people.
Bring the
Yeah.
Funny on NBC.
You know, you're diving in now, and you're going to find a treasure trove, a plethora of things in our
a
canon.
cornucopia, some might say.
Well, guys, we brought the funny to America, so of course we have to continue that.
And now we're
We're
going to take
have
it away from
actually
them.
talk about it.
We're gonna take it away
have
from
to
you
actually...
piece by piece. Well, Elliot, you tried to transition. Let's go start with you.
Let's go start with
Where's
you.
your mind? How's your feelings? Actually, how about this? Because we've talked about the show a bunch.
Yeah, let's give some
and
structure.
I think we talked about Incomprehensible Cowboy and where that came from previously. So what I would like to ask all of you then is the moment it was announced. Like, what do you remember going through
Great
your head?
question,
How did
Joe.
you feel?
That's a great
'Cause
question, Joe.
We're recording this before it airs. But I know I had a wash of dumbfoundedness.
Me too.
On. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like the producers are probably very upset with how I
yeah.
reacted. That's where I'm kind of at. I'll elaborate after you start. Elliot.
Yeah, it was all of our psychologies in play at the same time that happened to coalesce in a single moment of shock, regardless of, I think, what we were expecting to have happen. In the moment for me, I was like, surely, I was pretty confident and I felt good about what we'd done. And I felt good about us having trended, and I felt good about the support we'd gotten from our audience and family and friends. And so I was kind of just like, I was in the boat of don't get your hopes too high, but then also realized that they just were high and there was nothing I could do about it. And
You accepted the situation.
You're
Yeah,
just like, yeah.
I was like, this is, it's cool to say that, or it's hip to be like, oh, whatever. But no, I did want it and did think we had done enough to earn it by way of just, I thought I'm proud of the sketches we did and proud of the support we got for it. And so I was just sort of like, okay, I think this is going to happen. I still think it's going to happen. When Takara was up there, I was really happy it was Takara and really happy that, to go down against someone who's a single mom and making her way through comedy
And
herself
is
would be awesome.
Funny as hell. And
Funny as hell.
Is gonna
And so sweet.
skyrocket.
And she actually watched the show with my parents like the night we were doing the live stream, like my parents wound up at the hotel lobby and they all like got to know each other and got to know our kids and all that stuff, and it was real beautiful. And then the next day Takara was being all sweet and was like, your parents are so sweet. And I was like, I know, they like flew across the country, and which was another part of it, because I was like, I want my parents, who are very tired, and my dad was under the weather, and I was like, I don't want them to come out here and like not win, like that would, I mean, it would be
all the way
fine
across the country to watch
Yeah,
your
to watch
son
Yeah.
lose.
and it was all so beautiful. Like, it was just, I got really emotional when it happened, and it didn't, I was worried I was going to cry on stage, and then didn't. And then when we walked off, Jordan, who was our sort of handler, producer guy, he came up and he hugged me, and he was like, congrats. He was like, how do you feel? He was like, he's like, you guys are so good. It had to happen, and all this stuff. And I went to talk, and I knew that if I said anything, I would like crack talking. And so I just was like, I can't right now. And it was all hitting me at once. And then also Grace was out of town, and she had just arrived, and I hadn't seen her. And now I'm going to get emotional thinking about that. And it was real beautiful, but it was like, don't cry when you see Grace. I was like, don't be cool about it.
Cry when you see Grace.
And like keep your stuff together. And then I saw your kids coming down, and then Heather, and I was like, okay. And then your dad. So I was like, okay, here we go. Keep it cool. And then I saw Grace, and we hugged and kissed and made love. And
yeah, my kids got an education.
It was
Yes.
the wettest
So I would like
love
to
I'd ever seen.
I've
you for
ever
that.
seen.
sloppy,
I
but
don't know
Unreal.
where all that water came
we're
from.
messes. But
Jackson
and then
calls having sex Ellioting now.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it was very beautiful. And then just, I remember just being so tired. Like I am still tired. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just sort of very surreal. And it keeps hitting me in waves that we want. I think
Totally.
we're recording this at a time where we haven't actually seen the our reaction or the episode itself. We're recording
And
this on a Monday.
most people in our lives don't know.
No,
Yeah,
most people
no
don't
one in our
know.
li-
And what I've found too is when I tell people when something cool happens, it's like, to you, I think it's easier to live vicariously through the people you're telling
Yes,
about it than it
totally.
is to like feel yourself. And so
Yeah.
telling people here and there, whispering to them, has been really cool. And
they
seeing
smile,
just the
and
excitement.
they
yeah,
cheer.
'Cause
they
do.
get it.
They get
Yeah.
they react how I think we are supposed to react.
Right.
Yeah.
It's rare. I mean, we self-deprecate a lot, but every now and then there's a win, and it's sort of very just, I don't know, it validates what I feel about what we offer, and it validates sort of, I think, this feeling of imposter syndrome that we tend to have, where we get to make a living making silly stuff, and every now and then something like this happens where it's like, no, we do have something that is correct and good and different, and so
and loved
anyway.
by people. That was
Yeah.
what I felt the most. I was like, I think we're loved.
So loved, and that was the biggest. It was just so beautiful. Like, it's the whole thing is just the most beautiful experience. So that's my thank you for coming. And patreon.com/the Valleyfolk is still actually really important. And
It's more than ever. Steve
I
and the Valleyfolk winners.
I couldn't
Steve
believe
reacted
it.
the best in my
Yeah, I
opinion,
feel like I
because-
took the energy of the group that
Yes,
that you
'cause
guys
we were all
didn't have,
panicking.
and
We
I
were
just
all-
was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna run around on this stage."
Yeah,
and
you started
like
doing
freak
circles.
out.
Yeah, I knew what you were doing. I was like, thank you for
Thank
compensating.
you for
Yeah.
compensating for all of us. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had to do something with the feeling I had inside, because the second we heard our name, I just like couldn't believe it. I was so nervous up there, more nervous than I'd ever been probably in my life on any kind of stage.
Yeah.
For some reason, between when it was Takara and us up there, and Amanda and the judges were finally like giving their final thoughts about everything. Like, if you see me in those moments, I'm like absolutely terrified. I'm
I
terrified.
think we all were.
Yeah, for sure.
And so when they said our name, it gave me a moment to kind of like let that fear out and just be like, all right, fuck it. We're on TV. The audience is going nuts. It's
Yeah.
time to explode with like whatever emotion I'm feeling, and I'll funnel it through excitement, and I'll run around the stage and shit.
My favorite part was after everything had ended, you and me, when we were changing, there was a nice, really beautiful moment where the door shut, and it was the first time either of us had not been just surrounded by everybody, and we're
Right.
changing out of our suits. And without saying anything, you and me just like hugged each other like reflexively for a second, and
Yeah.
it was really nice.
Yeah.
That made it feel more real than the moment of hearing the name. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, you're
No,
right,
it's
because
good.
then you're not, because you have to have that like that thing of performance on when you
Yes.
know there's cameras and an audience.
Yeah.
That
And-
really makes like all the diva demanding that you guys had your own dressing room. Like that makes it worth it. It makes it really worth it.
Yeah.
At least you guys had that moment.
Well, nobody wanted to watch us have sex, so
Yeah.
they gave us our own
That's
room.
fair.
But
It was me, Stephen Ollie. Okay. Ollie
yeah, it
Siddiq.
was Ali Siddiq. But no, and then I just, you can't practice that.
No.
You can't be like look in the mirror and go like, and the winner is the Valleyfolk.
That didn't stop me though.
Really?
In my head, I was still like, I should have an idea of what I should do, and then it all went out the window.
I mean, I
Just in
didn't.
case.
I
I didn't,
didn't
yeah.
because I didn't think we were gonna win, man. Like I truly didn't.
Yeah, I remember saying "holy shit" a couple times.
Yeah, I said fuck multiple. I even told
Yeah.
the producer, I was like, you have to watch my face because I said fuck 15 times, and I'm very sorry. You're gonna have to cut around.
Yeah.
that.
There was this moment when I was done running around on the stage where I dropped down to my knees and I just said "thank you," and the
so
camera
good.
went like right by me when I did it. So
Yeah, we all
hopefully
started-
we get a nice moment to just thank people.
You warmed
instead
it
of
up
being
for
like-
us a little bit, like with the antics, and then I don't know if you guys noticed, but at one point, like we all started being silly towards the end. I
Yeah.
started walking into the flame behind
Yeah.
you
Oh
guys.
yeah.
You did.
Yeah,
love
I
it.
mean we couldn't have prepared for that moment at all. So that was my reaction. I also want to say really quick before we get too deep into the emotions and all that stuff that Elijah Daniel
Yes.
like 1,000,000% stepped up to the plate for us when we were getting our America vote from the Cowboy sketch to see if we'd win the whole thing. And I hit up Elijah and I was like, hey man, we need like a bunch of hashtags out there. Can you help me out? And he's like, we're getting you to #1, bitch. And he went on this whole thing and just like went off and got his audience on board, and he got all these K-pop fans on board and just spread the hashtag. And I really think I just want to give him a shout out because he
Yeah.
stepped up to the plate and he really helped us out so much. Probably
I want to piggyback on that. Like all of our friends did. All of
Yeah,
our
that's
connections.
what I-
Elijah did
yes.
a lot. Phil DeFranco.
Phil's
tweeted us
tweet
out.
was like the most
Succinct.
perfect microcosm
Yes.
ever. Just like, Phil just put more information directly that will help us than we have ourselves done with our own
Oh,
tweets.
yeah.
It's like, do this, and this. And I was like,
One,
yeah,
go here.
that's
Two,
how do
do
you
this. Yeah.
understand the rules better
And
than
this
I
was-
do?
And this was both rounds. This was getting us back into the show and the finale. Phil was there. Rhett and Link stepped up. Our Smosh family stepped up.
Yeah.
Funhouse, our new friends and family. They were Elise,
Grace,
was
old
Mamrie.
friends,
Grace,
new
and
friends,
Mamrie,
Meg
Hannah
Turner.
Hardy.
Hannah, yeah.
God, there's so many people that I'm
It
gonna.
felt like a real. That was a part. for
Trisha,
me.
Sam, like our
Yeah.
SourceFed family, like
SB7, everyone.
our families, our friends came together and helped support us, and that, winning the show felt great, but I haven't had a chance to celebrate, and I'll elaborate more on that in my mind just because I haven't. I feel like I celebrated this congregation of friends lifting
Yeah,
us higher.
that
Like that
community,
#1
yeah.
trending for whatever reason right now still felt thicker
Yeah.
than winning the show feels
Yeah.
right now, just because the show
Right.
just is a
because
foreign
it was-
feeling.
We're
you know?
in what is it when you're not in
Denial?
heaven or hell? You're in
Purgatory.
We're in purgatory right now. Yeah. So it's
so
still
again, shout out to the internet community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that
right.
felt-
That
I felt
#1
so good,
trending
yeah.
thing totally felt like we have enough friends that love us.
Gus
Yeah.
and Eddie, our
Like,
other new
that's what-
boys
Yeah.
support boys friend. Like
we
God,
won a
so
lot
many
of
people.
times. We didn't just win
Yeah.
the show. We won so many little things. Like we won the acceptance of these comedians that we respect. We won, this fan base of people that like came to our rescue when we needed them. Like we are winners through
Yeah.
and through throughout this whole thing. It's been such a magical, eye-opening, crazy experience.
Well, it also felt like that was the work. That's the work that we've put in over 8 years together and putting in time to this YouTube thing and to this online thing. Like that's the work that we've put into all this coming to fruition. You know, like that's all of those bridges that you build with people and like those connections that you make with people. That's all of that coming to a point where you just go, oh my God, thank God I have this community, and like look what it's made and look what it's done. Like that feels so special in my mind.
I also want to I want to hear your thoughts about when they say the Valleyfolk, and then obviously yours as well. But I don't want to forget that we have to go on and on and on about our all the other comedians.
Yes, we will. I think for sure.
And talk about how much we love them and how.
I mean,
how
I will.
Crazy the experience was.
But first, us.
Yes. So Lee,
well,
the Valleyfolk.
The Valleyfolk. I genuinely, so when they called our name, because Takara went up there and she's a queen and I love her so much, and I was like, hell yeah! Like even Joe and I were like, Takara.
She's such a
and
sweetie.
Then she's such a sweetie and she's so talented.
Everybody's like, y'all should go to Vegas. What happens in Vegas? It stays in Vegas. No, it don't. What happens in Vegas turned 5 in February. That's what happened in Vegas. Stop.
And then I was like, oh, it's going to be Takara and Lou Burger. Like, that was genuinely my first thought. I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, like that, whatever. And then they were like, Valleyfolk. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, genuinely, I was like, oh, no. Oh, shit. So then we got up there and I was like, when you lose, in my head, I genuinely was like, when you lose, just like be gracious and bow and smile. Like,
we
don't
would have
forget
lost
to smile.
better than we would have ever
That's what
won.
I said. That's what I was thinking in my mind.
We would have went
I'm a
nuts
very
for Takara.
good
Well,
loser.
we're so used to one.
That's so that genuinely, I was like, in my mind, I was like, just like smile and don't like look sad because you won't really be sad, and just be gracious. And like I kept in my head, I was like rehearsing for when we lost. And then they call her name, and I know I said fuck 15 times that they're going to have to edit around. I know I looked like pure shock, and I was so grateful that you were doing anything other than standing there, because I was just standing there.
With deer in headlights.
Deer in
pretty
headlights
much.
for sure. And I just was like, and then I felt tears started to well up, and I was like, oh shit, fuck, I'm going to fucking cry. Like I was so mad. So I stifled that emotion by thinking of something horrible or death or something. But
Well,
like,
that's a sobering thing.
so
like,
like right on the on the stage, the Valleyfolk
Yeah.
in the background. I was like, think about dying, don't cry.
Yeah.
But no, it was like a very intense, visceral feeling. And then I immediately thought of Takara, and I was like, I have to tug Takara. And I think you can even like see me like look over at her and feel
Well,
like
you
I
took
like
out your notes and
need to.
you looked at your bullet
Yes.
points and you were like,
I
look
have
shocked,
to,
deer
look
in
shocked,
headlight, hug
hug
Takara. So you followed your bullet
I
points
did.
to a T.
But no, I literally was like, oh, fuck, I gotta
Bullet
hug.
points.
Bullet points to a T. But like, and even like, I think you see like Amanda's like, how do you feel? And we're like moving past her. We're like, I like moved her out of the
We're like,
way
Amanda,
and
this
hugged
is the
Takara.
first time you've spoken
I know.
to
I was like,
us.
you don't look at us ever. So I'm going to hug Takara because I'm looking at her.
we interacted with the judges more than we
When
interacted
with
with Amanda.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But she's like, how do you feel? I can move out of the way.
Yeah.
But it was like huge shock. We went off and I had to change out of my thing. And then I literally I started changing, and Rachel, who is our I'm gonna cry right now, sorry. That guy was right. He was
The
like, Lee's gonna
wardrobe
cry.
one?
Yeah, Rachel, she was like our amazing wardrobe chick, and she was a badass, and I fell in love deeply with her. And I literally started changing out, and she was like, oh my God, you did it, and like ba-da-da-da-da, and she's like, we wanted and we loved and blah, and she was so sweet. And then I just started crying. I just like literally was like, bleh, and she's like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, this is great. She's like, it's okay. Like, you can feel. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, it's all right. And she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I didn't expect to win. And I was like, I'm genuinely very used to defeat in this industry. Like, honestly, like, I'm very used to being like, if it's up against me and someone in a pilot season, I congratulate them early, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm genuinely very used to defeat in this industry. So this is a very new feeling for me. And she was just like, that's great. And that's fine. And I was like, I feel bad. I left Takara. And she was like, Takara's going to be okay, Toots. And I was like, okay. And then she genuinely was like, I was so grateful she was there, because she was like, bright spots come along so little in your life. Like, she's like, I know it feels right to like focus on the negative and focus on the panic and focus on the worry. She's like, but bright spots don't happen that often. So really revel in this.
Yeah.
She was like, we were all rooting for you. She's like, everyone is rooting for you. Like, enjoy that moment. And it was like, I was so grateful that she was there, because I genuinely was kind of spiraling because I didn't know how to process those emotions. I was just like, I don't know. And then of course you're just like naked and whatever, and you're just like, I don't know how to, and those spanks were very painful. But it was I was very grateful for her in that moment, being there, being like, bright spots come along very rarely. Live in this moment, like enjoy this moment. Don't focus on something that you feel like you can focus on, because we all know that you're not sitting here being an asshole about it. And she said she's like worked a lot of competition things, and she's like, some people are assholes. Like she's like, some people win and you feel like shit that they won. She's like, I don't feel that way about you, which
That's
I needed
nice.
to hear.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, good. But that was it. That was the whole process of me just like, I genuinely was panicking, and I was in my head like, bow, be gracious, smile big when you lose. And so that was a very weird moment to be like,
we weren't
oh.
trained for winning.
No, we aren't trained. And then you and I were talking
I'm
about how
certainly not trained
we're
for
not
winning.
competitive people. Like I've never
No.
in sports, I've never won a sporting
No.
thing. I've never done that. So I don't know how it feels. And at that point I was like, those are my friends. Like those are my
Yeah.
friends that you're winning against. And that feels awful.
Yeah,
but
behind
it felt,
the scenes, it was always more love and support than
Yeah.
competition. And what we do isn't naturally a competitive
thing,
It's-
yeah.
It's
But and then
subjective
when
art.
It's collaborative.
I was
Yeah.
super grateful. And the coolest thing that I will say is that, and Kevin and I even were talking about it afterwards, when Joe literally tapped me, we're on the stage. I don't think you'll be able to see it in the moment because it was just madness. But Joe tapped me and he goes, look at that. And behind us, it says the Valleyfolk and like all those
yeah.
lights. And the coolest thing was that I genuinely was like, oh my God, we started that like less than 2 years ago. Like we started the Valleyfolk like a year and a half ago. And here's our name in lights as
On a
we're
TV
winning
show,
this,
yeah.
as we're winning an NBC show. And that was a really, like, I genuinely sat there in that moment and I was like, this is fucking rad. Like, this is awesome. And I was very proud of us in that moment to, like, see our name sparkling and glittering as flames are going off and Joe's walking into him. But to literally go, like, people didn't know what the Valleyfolk was 2 years ago.
And
like,
a
people
lot of
didn't
people
know.
still
do not know. Still do not know.
We ourselves are still
Shout out to
figuring it
those people.
We didn't know what it was. That, you know, like it's really cool to be like, this is our name. This is something we created, and it's in lights as it's sparkling as we won. That was a really cool moment. I don't know. I liked
Beautiful.
that.
All beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
I-
And then I didn't get to keep the suit. So
Sounds like a lot of people did.
really,
You could have kept your suit.
I could have. I know.
I kept
just
mine.
didn't.
I went back to the theater and got it.
Yeah, good
It's
for
in
you.
my closet. I'm very excited about.
Good for you. Damn
Good for you.
Yeah.
Um,
We're all winners.
I told them to burn mine.
Yeah, you
I
hate
said burn
suits.
it or put it in Planet Hollywood and just say
Go put it on
who the
Zach.
fuck is
Zach.
Steve Zaragoza.
Go put it on Zach Efron's wax sculpture.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I went dumbfounded. I can't wait to see it. I think
Yeah.
my face just went blank. I didn't know what to do. I think I bent over for a second, filled with I don't know how to react
Yeah.
emotions. I was happy for us. I was happy for you guys. I was also like scared to win. I felt bad for Takara, but I also like loved her, and I thought the same thing. Like she's gonna skyrocket
Yeah.
after this, and like you said, be just fine.
Also, if she won and we had lost, I mean, like, if she had won and was like, I just feel so bad for the Valleyfolk, I'd be like, what are you doing? Go
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
fun.
that's the
Win.
truth.
Like,
I would
mean,
be like,
I can
right.
go
I'm not
so far
saying
and be
this
like,
is like
no, but
like-
yeah.
like these guys are all incredibly talented.
I'm not saying
performers
these
who
are
will
logical
go
thoughts
No,
or
for it.
none
feelings
of
that
these
went
are.
through me.
Yeah, no.
Like I'm just saying what went through me. I'm reiterating the thoughts. And then you become self-aware after a second.
Yeah.
You start going, what
React.
am I doing? And then I'm watching Steve. I'm like, Steve's doing the right thing. That's good. And then we all start biting it up a little bit. And then I got lost in the moment, and I was like, I want to make sure. Like I started looking around, right? So I look down and I look at the front row where we were all sitting, and I make eye contact with Paul and Chris from the Chris and Paul
Yes.
show, and they're both just giving me the biggest smiles. They're giving me the thumbs up, like just letting me.
I couldn't look at any. I got real. That was like I was like, look, I'll
It's
cry.
very hard.
They were
Yeah.
very reassuring for me in that moment. Like
I
they
love those
like I
boys
looked at
so
them in
much.
the eyes, and they let me know that it was okay to be okay with winning
That's
in
awesome.
that moment. And that was very kind of them to do.
More beauty.
More
Yeah,
beauty.
and then I started looking around the theater some more, trying to like listen to see if people were actually happy that we won because of the imposter side, and there's other
Yeah.
people's families and stuff in there. So I'm like gauging the audience. I'm like, are they okay?
Some of them weren't.
And then I realized, and
Some of them weren't.
then I was like,
like
this-
mine.
I didn't want to make the mistake of not acknowledging a loved one. So I looked up to the top balcony where
yeah.
they were, and they were silhouettes, and we could never see their faces, but you
Yeah.
could always see the tops of their heads. And I just put my hands up and started doing the double wave thing to
Cool.
them, and that's when I started crying, or welling up in my eyes.
Cool.
And I would have teared up, but I stopped it. But like when I realized I was doing it in front of my family and our
Yeah.
friends, that felt good. Like my dad was here. If anybody has irrationally wanted me to have success in this industry, it was my dad. Like even since like third grade, he'd be like, "You should go to Hall." Like he's just that guy, and he's always
Yeah.
supportive of it. And he's probably reveled in it more than I ever have. And this is the first time like I flew him in and made sure he got to be here, and him getting to watch that I think was important to me. So I don't know if that quite like it started to hit me there. And then, we're all doing our stuff on the stage. You start bidding it up. And I'm like, that's when I also became self-aware and was like, oh, crap, we're still entertainers right now. We need to entertain. So we started bidding it up a little bit and having fun. And I can't remember what the judges said. I know they said some stuff. And I just remember being in my head going, did you want us to win? Are you guys okay with this? Are you happy?
Which
Second
is
guessing.
that's such a performer thing of like, did you like,
getting that acceptance.
yes.
Yeah.
Everything we need permission
And
for
they were
everything.
nothing
Did
but
you?
they were nothing but kind the entire time.
course.
Like everybody on the show
Yeah.
was, from behind the stage. Like there was no reason for us not to. Again, I'm very happy for any thoughts in my mind that are like you said, imposter, or maybe we shouldn't have won, or whatever. They are swiftly replaced by I am very, very happy with the 4 things we did on this show. I'm
Yeah.
very happy with the behind the
yeah.
scenes packages that we did. I think we were original. I think we were different, and I think we were funny. Now, was that for everybody? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't walk away going we didn't deserve it on some level. So that's
That
in my
feels-
heart.
yeah.
And that feels
That's
good.
good.
And then the part that was that I'll walk away for the rest of my life remembering. We all get ushered off stage. And it's like, what are we doing now? Nobody really knew.
Yeah,
And then we
no.
got stuck in a corridor, like the stair corridor, really small. Like it would be a nightmare if there was a fire small.
Yes.
And this is where all of the audience is leaving. And we're kind of like, what do we do? What do we do? And then our families start walking down the stairs. And we make eye contact with my kids and my wife and my dad. I think they were some of the first ones down. And they were just, I've never felt the feeling of them being more proud and happy for me or for us than in that moment. Those smiles were so big and genuine, and then my kids came up and hugged me, and my wife, and hugged all you guys, and then my dad, and then Grace, and then everybody started coming down, your family.
Yeah.
And we were just stuck in this small corridor that
Yeah.
like sardines that it was a fire hazard. We should
Yeah.
have never been there. Nobody told us to leave.
No.
They let us have the moment. There was hugs, there was tears. It was great, and it felt awesome. And then we all go our separate ways and we change, and it's still chaos, and there's people behind the scenes saying congrats. But there's also people just leaving. Like
Yes.
the show is over,
Yeah.
and like there's costume people, hair people.
They're
They're like,
just
fuck it,
walking.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And they're leaving. They're like, congrats, bye, to never be seen again, because their time with the show is over and they
Yeah.
want to go home. And there's all this chaos, and then we walk outside to the front of the theater, and it's done.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no press. There's no nothing. Like it was
No.
just done.
Yeah.
It was
Everyone had their
We
job.
literally had the conversation of where do you guys want to
It was
go?
almost like
Where-
silence. There
Where-
was
I'm gonna
like,
go have a drink with my parents.
yeah, like
Okay,
the show
go.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
Other
No, that's the
people were
truth.
kind of like having other contestants were having some casual conversations with their friends or whatever. But it went from like 100 to
Madness.
0
Yeah.
so quick, and then it was just done. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, we won, great, and then now here we are.
Now
Like,
we are.
Yeah.
So there was a billion emotions all happening at the same time, then down to nothing. And I would say I still haven't probably effectively dealt with the billion emotions that I've went
Yeah.
through.
We're in a holding pattern.
But yeah,
For
it was
sure.
fun. I think there was a moment where the judges kind of broke some tension for us on the stage, and legitimately got me with that fake.
Fake envelope
the
bit.
fake
I was
envelope
very
bit?
Oh, that was
grateful for
great.
that.
Yeah.
I was so
I thought that was a
grateful
great
for that.
moment.
It legitimately got me.
Yeah. I was
same.
like, oh God.
Same.
Oh no.
And it got them too.
Yeah.
It was a good bit.
So that
It
was
was a very good
fun.
bit.
Yeah, I think that was my
When
reaction.
they said there was nothing in that envelope, I thought for a second it was going to be 2 winners.
That's what I did too. I was like, oh,
But they're
that's
just gonna
wild.
announce, yeah.
Especially because she said it was like when she was
Oh,
like going through
interesting.
everything. I thought I was like, oh, they're gonna decide
Mm-hmm.
to be 2 winners. But yeah, it was a very weird. Again,
But instead
feel
there
like-
were 4.
I still haven't. I know I still haven't.
processed.
I haven't allowed myself to be happy yet.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm scared of it. I guess I don't
I
know.
know.
I'm waiting for that elation to come over, and I'm
Yeah.
being very guarded against it, and I don't know why.
Well, plus it's over after that. It's
I guess
completely
so.
over.
I guess so.
You know, like that's it. We did
It's
this
also
show.
it's terrifying. It's
Yeah.
like, what next? You
What
know?
next
How do
is
we-
Maybe
the
nothing.
world.
Maybe
Yeah, we're-
something. Like we don't know.
Where we
Yeah.
were let out into the world again, and like we may never return to TV land.
This could be a blip, a fun
Yeah.
blip. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in
Or-
TV land for a little bit. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of what happens, I think it's a good proof of concept and a good like indicator that okay, we have a space and we have a place in this world.
Yes.
And we rely on self-deprecation so much that I think we've sort of swallowed our own medicine at times, and I think moments like this are just like, oh, okay, and it really does boil down to. I think for one, we stayed true to ourselves, like you're saying, Joe, with the sketches, but then also just like the people are so like invested in this story that we have, and it's such an insane journey that we've been on for the past decade that it's like this is, I think it is the beginning. I mean, you said that, Steve, in the dressing room when you were like, processing out loud, and at one point you were just like, is this the beginning? And I was like, man, it might be, man. Like this might be kind of the start of some new cool stuff. And
It's Act 1
and there's
of
nothing
our 3-act.
Yeah, and there's nothing not scary about that, because I think we can fall
Yeah.
into the wormhole of we're in our 30s and we're not young whippersnappers and we've had success and we can never have it again. And it's like, no, like this is gonna happen again, and if this is any indication, we're gonna do more cool stuff. And it's like I'm very excited, but also terrified, because you don't want this to be the last thing, and you don't want it to feel like it should feel like a race going off, not a some kind of
Like the
grand
finish line.
finale.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what's what the other interesting thing that's just popping into my head right now while we're talking about it is, I think some of that fear is we're also constantly figuring out what this is.
Yeah.
It's different than what it was a year and a half ago. It's different than it was 6 months ago, and what we want it to be in the future. And I still feel like we're figuring that out. In this show
Yeah.
itself, I mean, we had to figure out what the hell we were going to do on it. Once we got the show,
Yeah.
it's not like we are sketch comedians.
No, we're not.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just a collection of people that just do stuff on the internet right now, and it's a spattering of just hanging out and being funny. And we had to decide to be sketch comedians
Yes.
Right.
on the show.
Yes.
Like people that watch the show that don't know what the Valleyfolk are might come to our channel or ask us what we are and what we want to do and think that's it. And we don't know.
Yeah.
I think we proved that we're pretty good at it.
Yeah, I mean, I have been kind of going back and forth with this like internal like debate about cred
Yeah.
due to this. Like, I feel like, is this the validation that I personally was looking for in my weird sense of humor and in the weird way that I hold myself and present myself? Is this the cred that I've been searching for? Like, we won a TV show about being the funniest in America, and Kenan Thompson and Jeff Foxworthy and Chrissy Teigen were there, who are debatably like way up in the zeitgeist of like untouchable, godlike status. Is it like, do I accept this cred of like they have, I don't know. It's
No,
like
I
it all
get
connects
it.
to that, Joe.
Yeah.
It connects to that whole feeling of like, I don't know. I don't know
I
how
think
to
it's
feel
a
about
big thing
this.
for us, though. I think because Keenan said it perfectly, and I thought about it a lot this weekend when he was like, "You guys perform so well together," and I was like, "Oh, that's what we are. Like, we can do sketch, sure we can do dumb little videos of this, we can do man on the street stuff, we can do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, we are performers. Like, we perform. That is what we do, which is why when we do stuff together, he was saying wonderful things about it. And he was saying, like, you perform so well together, and we really do. And I was like, oh, that's what we are. We are like performers. Like, no matter what, if you throw a sketch in our way, sure, we can do it. If you
Well,
throw
yeah,
this in
we
our
did
way,
news for years
Yes.
as comedians,
Yeah.
and we
It's
were kind of like
performing.
chameleon-esque.
yeah. So it's not about validation, because I think this is the industry in which, like, I hope to God, this sounds so dark and I don't want it to, but like, I hope I don't ever feel fully validated in that, because I think you are continuously striving
Totally.
for other things. I think to feel like, yes, that's a weird little notch in my belt, if you will, of like, oh, that felt really good, and thank you for validating that moment and that sketch side of me. For me, I did sketch for freaking 12 years, so to have that like notch in my belt, that felt really good, of being like, yeah,
That's
because
a long ass sketch, Lee.
so it was it's 12 years of sketch.
You should
and
make
it was
your
very
sketches
good.
Some would
Shorter.
say not long enough.
No, 12 years is too long
Susan
for a
Average.
sketch. It's way
Yeah.
too long.
Like too
Yeah,
long. But it's like that was it for
Totally.
so for sketch that felt really good to be like, oh shit, yeah, I've done this for so long. I've probably written hundreds of them and I've performed hundreds of them. So this felt good as far as that validation. What is it, the validation? No, I hope to God I don't ever feel that, because I think striving is the only way we can push ourselves forward in that performance area.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I felt like such an odd man out in regard to this group, because I don't identify as a sketch performer or comedian. I think you three are incredibly talented at it, and it's something that you have the pulse on a little bit more. I don't. That's not my style of thing. But I felt like going into this, like, if it wasn't sketch, if it was, we're gonna write, it's a comedy competition to write the best pilot. It's a thing to come up with the best film pitch. It's going to be something where we're doing a one-act play together. Like, whatever it is, I felt from the beginning like we would rise to the occasion, and with our personal abilities to rise to the occasion combined with a community of people behind us who know where we're coming from, I'm very proud of the whole community. Like, it feels the Valleyfolk now after this to me feels bigger than the four of us. It feels bigger than a Patreon. It feels like it is now this weird kind of almost like a town's worth of people, a city's worth of people just being like, okay, yeah, like let's all do this together and have fun with it. And I think that's very cool. I think it's kind of opened my perspective up a little bit, which is nice.
I love that a lot. I really like that. That being said, we have to come up with a name for everyone. Is it like, are they the Folks? Are they the Valleycats? Are they? I'm just kidding.
It's Valleycast. It's Valleycast.
Also,
Thanks.
we're real excited.
We
and
are.
sorry,
God,
this is
we're
the most
sorry.
muted conversation ever. It's
Well, it
just
feels
I haven't
bad to
even talked
yell.
about this, and none of us have talked about this, and so
None of us have talked about it together.
we
Yeah.
also, this was the same thing that happened when the first trending thing happened, where it's like we start trending, and all of us, just the four of us, have this uncanny ability to, if we're being goofy, go balls to the wall. But if something good is happening, there's 100% this feeling of like,
When is the other shoe gonna drop?
how do we? Yeah, and so
Yeah.
please don't take somberness or mutedness as a sign that we're not
Yeah.
We're
ecstatic. I'm
We're
so
ecstatic. I'm so
well, you
very
also don't have
happy.
to apologize or make excuses for how you are physically reacting to
Yes.
this
Yeah,
thing.
Totally.
you know?
I just saw
Like,
our
we-
own faces from the outside, and I was like, looking out, I would be like, do they know they just won a national
Well, no, I mean,
television?
look, we've been talking about it for a while now, and you just got to a point where you got deeply personal about your feelings about the whole sketch thing, and it was a moment to kind of like take it down and feel that,
Thank
Like,
you.
No, it's the truth.
Well, and now you are taking that moment and you're presenting it in a more positive light, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
well, thank you, Elliot. Well, how about
Why don't you guys
this?
go to your dressing room and hug?
Oh, and by the way, that wasn't self-deprecating. I'm awesome. There's no.
I don't think anybody.
I
got
think I'm
himself
great.
in
I'm
the-
100%. I've been doing sketch for 17 years.
Okay, so listen, let's pause for a second and do some ads, and then we'll jump back in with our fellow contestants who we love very much, and we'll talk a lot about them for the whole rest of the thing if you want to.
Let's get some high energy, high octane feeling in here. Do you get sick of being a dumbass? Come to Dumbass Don't Be a Dumbass Anymore School.
I definitely thought that was pre-recorded, and I looked up and you're making eye contact with me.
Hey guys, I want to talk about Bespoke Post. With their Box of Awesome,
Down a
Bespoke
little
Post
bit.
sends guys only the best stuff every month. They test everything in the Box of Awesome themselves, from style and grooming goods to barware, cooking tools, and outdoor gear. Every product gets put through the ringer before it gets put inside a monthly Box of Awesome. We're talking things like the Refresher Kit, which I know Elliot ordered recently, which is a cool little travel bag that comes with like all sorts of grooming
I'm
essentials.
so glad you mentioned that, Joe. I'm so excited
Yeah,
about
I
it.
know. And there's color options as well. What color did you choose? There's
chose the olive one,
Oh,
Joe.
that's a great one. There's
No, a
deep-
camel.
There's also an olive. There's a camel. There's deep blue. It's great. I got my traveler bag, which I'm
I
very
saw.
excited about, which comes in the same color
I
options.
didn't get that only because you got it.
It's gonna be so cool. So guys, if you want stuff like that, and it's things across the board. Elliot's got like a cigar kit back in the day. There's like an aged kit that's all about wine, stuff like that.
This
It's good
is
stuff.
So intense.
To get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them
we
pick
turn
the
it
right
Turn it
box
down a little
of
bit?
awesome
Yeah,
for
turn-
you.
It's not as loud to them as it is to us, but
Are you
yes, I'll
sure?
turn it down for you.
They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. Each box costs only $45, but has over $70 worth of gear inside. That's pretty sweet. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code Valleycast at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com. Code Valleycast for 20% off your first box.
Yeah, do it. You want me to dive in? I'm going to
Dive in.
All right,
Dive in,
guys.
Lee.
Wait, let me get you a new track here.
Please do. I'd like something sensual.
Okay.
More sensually, she means.
I've had a lot of coffee. I'm going to go take a little boy break, a little bathroom boy break.
Yeah, I gotta pee too. We're on the same schedule, Joe.
You really want something more sensual than
Well,
this?
just a little bit not as rock and roll.
Really? I thought the whole vibe was rock and roll.
Okay,
but
I can
I'll
do
give
it.
you.
I can
I'll
do
give
it.
you
I can do it.
sensual.
No, I can do it. I can
How
do
about
it.
this? How about this? I'll give
I
you.
can do it. No, I can do it. I can do
Hang on.
rock
I'll
and
get you
roll.
this. I'll get you this. You're gonna like this.
No,
one.
I don't know. Ooh, this is perfection.
Yeah, I knew you'd
And
like
I
That's
really
nice.
thank you
That's
so
nice.
Welcome
much.
back to Love Island.
Welcome back to
Today
Love.
we're going to talk about your butt.
All right, guys, we have a new wonderful journey. Liquid IV. I actually love this product. I use it all the time. Liquid IV is the fastest, most efficient way to stay hydrated. Trying to drink more water? Liquid IV hydrates you 2 to 3 times faster and more efficiently than water alone, with an added bonus of vitamin C, B3, B5, and B6, and B12. Feel good and do good. Liquid IV has donated 1.5 million sticks to date to places like Haiti, Uganda, Puerto Rico, and most recently Nepal. With each purchase you make Liquid IV and you make a Liquid IV, it donates to serving someone else around the world in need. Travel Liquid IV helps actually prevent jet lag. This is so true. Look, I use this during the entire process because I find that I don't drink enough water. Consistently, I don't drink enough water. And so it helps you immediately. It feels hydrated. I was using it to curb migraines. The second I would feel one coming on, I would drink that and I would feel it go away. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful any cure. If you just feel like you're just dragging in your day, Liquid IV helps you through that. Liquid IV is the fastest growing wellness brand. You can find them everywhere, even Costco. That's where I get mine. You can find their hydration multiplier sold everywhere nationwide. And it's non-GMO, vegan, free of gluten, dairy, soy. It's clean ingredients. And it's convenient TSA-friendly powder packets for travel. Helps prevent jet lag and altitude sickness. So, I love Liquid IV. I know you will too. Right now, our listeners get 25% off at liquidiv.com when you use the code VALLEY at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order on Liquid IV's website. Go to liquidiv.com and enter promo code VALLEY and get your savings started for better hydration. That's liquidiv.com, promo code VALLEY. Don't wait. Get started now. No, seriously, do it. I love it so much. I drink them all the time at night, everything. I am not a water drinker. I consistently am not a water drinker. I've tried. This is delicious and it's wonderful and it makes you feel hydrated immediately.
I've tried drinking water. Not for me.
Not for me. Honestly, I wish I could. I need to remind myself constantly. I just forget. But this is one of those things
hard to
where
remember.
it's like it's genuinely a wonderful thing where you go like, oh yeah, at the end of the day you're like, oh shit, I need to drink all the water. Liquid IV, baby, and it's delicious.
Yeah, drink more water.
Drink more water.
Steve, can you
But
hit,
if you can't, Liquid IV.
can you hit me with a hip hop type beat?
Oh, I love
yeah,
it. Hip
how about this?
Because I'd like to talk about
This
something
isn't hip hop at all, but it's hip.
I like this. Guys, I'm here to talk to you about stamps.com.
Hell yeah.
All right, shipping stuff. Ugh, can you tell me how complicated? I can tell you how not complicated with stamps.com. No one really has the time to go to the post office. You're busy. Who's got time for all that traffic and parking and
know.
lugging all your mail and packages? It's a real hassle. That's why you need stamps.com, one of the most popular time-saving tools for small businesses. We use it at the Valleyfolk. It helps us save time. We tape the little thing, we drop it off. No time wasted. It's absolutely
Time
perfect.
saved,
It
some would
eliminates
say.
trips to the post office. There you go. Thank you, Joe. It eliminates trips to the post office and it saves you money with discounts that you can't even get at the post office. We're talking
That's time
exclusive
and money,
stuff.
everybody.
Real cool. Time and money. Stamps.com brings all of the amazing services of the U.S. Post Office right to your computer, whether you're a small office sending invoices. We should send an invoice every now and then just to have fun. An online seller shipping out products, or even a warehouse sending thousands of packages a day. Stamps.com can handle it with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. Once your mail is ready, you just hand it to your mail carrier or you drop it in a mailbox. It's that simple. Do you hear what we're saying? It's simple. With Stamps.com, you get 5 cents off every first-class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail. Not to mention, it's a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, folks. You don't have to think about much, okay? It saved you time and money, like Joe was saying. It's no wonder over 700,000 small businesses already use Stamps.com because they're smart. Be smart, like over 700,000 small businesses. Here's what you're going to do, all right? Right now, our listeners of the Valleycast here, especially if you'd like to support the podcast and have a good time and ship, things to your loved ones, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. That's gifts on gifts on gifts, y'all. Discounts on discounts on discounts. Go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Valleycast. That's Stamps.com, microphone, enter Valleycast. That's Stamps.com, click on the microphone, type in Valleycast to claim your special offer. Thanks, guys. Back to the show.
Where's the cat?
That's that catchphrase from Elf.
Where's the cat?
Oh, you guys remember that one?
Where's the cat?
Where is it?
Where's the
Because he wanted to eat it.
Where's the cat?
Because he wanted to eat the cat. He wanted to eat that cat.
Where's the cat?
Do you guys remember that?
Where's the cat?
Good.
Now I have to
love
pee,
him.
so you guys keep
Okay.
going. I hope you have a good time. Don't talk about too many cool stuff.
Before we transition on to gushing over the contestants, I do want to give, and we've given our shout outs to
Careful.
our friends and our family and the fans and the community and the people behind the scenes.
No, I'm good.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's very nice of you.
I don't like water.
Shouted these few chaps out before, but I do think it's important. I would love to do it again. Just some of the people that were directly connected to a few of our sketches. Mole People, some of the early drafts worked on with Lee Baratz, brother of Luke Baratz back in the day. This is a sketch that I tried to make happen at a former time, and this gave us an opportunity to do it. So shout out to Lee Baratz. Follow him on Twitter. He's a great comedian and writer. Robot Doctor. Again.
Your mother died. Your mother died. Your mother died. Your mother died. Your mother died.
Somebody shut it off.
Your mother died. Your mother died.
Shout out to Mike Falzone.
Yeah, shut up.
And the dynamic banter boys and crew.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bringing that thing into reality and allowing us to
Bird
take it to
People
the next level.
is a shout out to Jimmy Fowley because he did some performance things in Groundlings that I took, and I was like, "Yo, I love him." I mean, when we did it in
Cool.
Groundlings. So those
didn't
are
know that.
choices. Yeah,
Now we know. And then
Jimmy Fowley is a prince and a king, and everyone should fall in love with him as deeply as I am.
And then on Incomprehensible Cowboy, my good buddy and longtime friend Scott Passarella came in and helped us take the song to the next level musically and comedically, and always lends his time and voice to us so graciously. He was part of the 1 Hour Song Machine when I was at Smosh, and
He's
show
so
was so
talented.
great.
I know, it really was.
He's just the best. So thank you to all those people that helped
Yeah,
us
that
get to
made
this point.
that ragtime music was perfection. He's so talented. He's so stinking talented. How fun.
Yeah.
How what a good time.
So, Steve, you wanted to talk about other contestants. I feel like you have something in your heart that you want to say.
I do want to say that every single comedian, person, human, individual that we got to spend an egregious amount of time with.
Unreal amount of time.
An unreal amount of time with. I just want to give a special shout out to every single one of them. I just it was quite an honor
Yeah.
to get to hang out with so many funny people, and man, we just fell in love with so many of them, and unbeknownst to us, we fell hard in love with or I fell very hard in love with, I'm sure you all agree, with Heath.
Yes, Randy Feltface.
Randy Feltface.
He's very kind.
He's so talented.
The man behind the puppet, once we met him, because we saw the puppet a bunch and we weren't on the same episode, so we didn't really interact
But
with him.
we loved the puppet.
We loved him, but we didn't know the man. And then the man was on the final show and we got to interact with him, and he's just really
He's
kind
delightful
and fun.
and so funny.
Heath,
yes.
yeah, we're
And
talking
he's-
about Heath.
And he's fast and
So quick.
he gets it. And I think, Steve, what you're saying with all these people is that it was just a reminder that we're all on this same damn struggle and journey, and all of these people that were on the show were just trying their best to be funny and to get their art across and to get to the next level. And most, if not all, everybody was very kind about it and understanding that everybody's journey was a little different, and there seemed to be very little judgment, if at all. And I highly, even if somebody kind of tickled you just a little bit on this show, I highly recommend going and following them and helping them along on their journey, because everybody's trying to just make it, you know.
It reminded me so much that like comedy really is like kind of a labor of love, you know, like, and when you talk to everyone individually as well, like how, you know, we had that conversation of they're like, I it's not that I don't have other skills. I don't want to do anything else but like make people laugh, and I don't want to do anything else.
I also have no other skills.
Yeah, I mean, I really
just
have no. I just
have
happen.
no other
Yes,
skills.
I don't have any other skills. But it was like that was the overwhelming conversation consistently as people when we were talking about our journeys and everything. It was just that like that need of I have to do this with my life. That's that passion, that labor of just absolute love and passion and putting that into the world. And I don't know if that's a common thing in any other thing. This music is insane.
It was also interesting to he's trolling us.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I mean, it's like awards show, epic, uplifting things.
This feels like an opera.
It's meant to be like uplifting, like we're playing uplifting, kind of like, you know, nice things to say about our friends.
Well, I really, God, this is so insane, Steve. No, but that is one thing I noticed, and I made me fall in love with comedy again. Not like I wasn't, but it's like it made me really fall in love with the aspect of comedy, because you look at everyone and you're like, oh my God, everyone is genuinely
comedy.
doing.
Was she there?
She's so
was,
sweet,
okay.
honestly, and also like really humble, like shockingly so.
God
She was
bless
just
her.
3 dogs.
Yeah,
Three clean dogs.
But that was it. Really did.
In a
I
trench
kept
coat?
thinking about that. I was like, oh, everyone is working on their own journey and working hard. Like not a single person on that show hasn't put the time in.
Dude, all the
hasn't
stand-up,
put the effort in.
all the stand-up acts
Yeah.
across the board that were on that show were like, we'd be like, hey, we're gonna go do nothing after the show. What are you doing? They're like, oh, we're doing
4
3 shows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
Even on performance night, like every single night, they were constantly putting in the work.
I can't even imagine. It's such a hustle.
So interesting, like learning about everybody as well, everybody's stories, and then realizing how freaking immensely talented some of them are. Like Keith from the Try Guys and Lou Berger would just reveal something about himself
God,
every
always.
night
Oh, yeah, every
that
night.
made me realize he was the most talented person in the freaking room. Like
Yeah.
the French horn he played on the show, and I don't know if people realized it, wasn't a prop. He
No.
played it
Oh,
live.
yeah.
He just played it so well that it sounded like part of the track.
Yeah.
That was live. He was like, he's like a professional freaking French horn player. And then he takes his hands out the next night and does the thing where you put your hands together and you can whistle, you know? But he has mastered it.
He's like
He
amazing.
can-
He's
at
got
it.
every tone. It's
He
like an
literally
instrument.
plays his hands.
He
Yeah.
turned his hand into an
He
instrument.
plays his
It's
hands
crazy.
better than he plays his French
And he
horn,
could,
and
like,
he's
do
an
a request.
amazing
he
French
starts
horn
doing it.
player.
It's this incredible thing, and then Chris and Paul leans over to me and goes, "You should see him suck a dick." But it was also then
As a joke, not
as a
serious.
joke, and then we
Well,
said,
yeah, 'cause we
no,
were
we were
all-
just saying how
Yeah.
funny if we were
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
that if
yeah.
also how
'Cause
funny
he's
if
good at
if he suck
everything.
yeah.
Well, because we all got to that point where we were joking with
Losing
each
our
other to that
minds.
degree.
Losing our
Randy
minds.
felt face at one point when he was doing one of the like mirror videos. He's
Yeah, God,
roasting
it was so
everybody,
good.
and he gets to our act, and he's like, "Oh, and the Valleyfolk is here. Oh, finally, after bribing all their YouTube subscribers." They were like, "Well, you got it. All right."
There was
Yeah.
a really funny moment where we weren't supposed to react to Randy. He was supposed to go like, "Hey guys, I'm here, I'm back." And we weren't supposed to react, but all of us genuinely love him so much that we were like, "Oh, hey man!" He's like, he turns around, he's like, "You're not supposed to react, you fucking idiots!"
Yeah.
It was perfect, but
So
we
good.
genuinely got to that point of
We were also going insane
we
at
were
that
losing
point.
our
We were
minds.
losing our minds
We
back
were
there.
fully losing our minds.
There's a
back
lot of
there.
waiting around with all those
We
funny people.
We were in
So
those
much.
suits backstage
For so
in like a
long.
false bar for like I think 6 hours waiting for us to be ushered in for the announcement, which happened like 5 minutes after that long wait. They're trying to force us to do reality moments during this,
Which
and
we
nobody
hated.
was having any of it because
Yeah.
A
they
little testy.
did not understand that like all these people are in their heads. Like they just did the biggest performance of their
their
life the
lives.
night before, and now tonight they're trying to find out if
they win.
what happens after this, you know?
You're
Yeah.
like, try and get really sassy with it, and you're like, I don't want to move or
Yeah.
talk.
I
Like,
can't be sassy with you. I have to go over the same thing in my head 7,000 times.
I have to talk
I'm
to myself
very busy.
horribly.
Yeah.
Watching
Be as neurotic as possible in the corner.
we
More
got to watch
neurotic than most, I think, comedians. You know,
Yeah.
all of us, yeah. Which is even funnier when they try and be like, my favorite terminology used was silly. It was like, do something silly, and all of us got like violent. Like
She started-
the second that silly word came out, everyone was like,
everybody. And she started to like rely on me to just like she'd make eye contact with me. She'd be, please just
Please
do it,
just
because
do
I'd just be the
any
one that would be like,
reality.
okay, let's just do the freaking bit so we could be done.
God.
And she would just plead with me with her eyes, like,
I
please
know.
lead it, please lead it.
I don't think she made eye contact with me towards the end.
We got
She-
to watch Jeff Ross do a roast, which was
Yeah,
really fun.
that was really fun.
and it was good.
He's
It
so
was very
funny.
funny.
When
Yeah.
he called Jeff Foxworthy a human banjo,
God,
I burst out
so
laughing.
good.
He also called him a cartoon squirrel's grandpa.
yeah.
That was very good.
His
Yeah.
Keenan Goodburger joke was amazing.
As all that joke was very
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
It's very, it's very surreal. It's very wonderful. And I will say the acts, we fell deeply in love with Chris and Paul. Like,
Yeah.
I am so glad we met those guys. They're so funny. They're so quick.
It was just a pleasure just getting to eat with them.
yeah.
Like they're so, we all have the same sensibilities when we're at buffet style
Yes.
crafty area,
Yeah.
and we're all like putting the same type of despicable shit on
Yeah.
top of things, on
Yeah.
top of food.
They fit in with our dynamic so well.
So well.
Yeah.
They played, so I kept thinking about that. I was like, oh man, like they are our type of humor.
They are totally our type.
Because
of
we
humor.
would just crack each other up so intensely. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I gotta get rid of
holy
it.
shit.
Sorry. We lost
That was so
Steve.
loud.
I know.
I thought that was
sorry.
Steve.
It was Steve.
I was like, who's competing with my bit right now?
You know what was also interesting? It was a fun education.
So
fun-
sorry.
And reminder again of different paths, but also how people are existing in the world of comedy
Mm-hmm.
differently. And Chris and Paul are a perfect example because we right now are this Patreon-backed YouTube, tend to do some live stuff on our own, doing the LA Hustle version of comedy
Yeah.
right now. That's like what we know, and I feel like you get in your bubble and you think everybody else is experiencing that. Chris and Paul are New York-based dudes that kind of run the festival circuit.
Yeah.
They'll make an act and they'll practice it up in New York and do it at clubs and stuff, but then they'll hop on a plane and go to Edinburgh and do it there, and they'll
Yeah.
like do so that's how kind of they're doing their hustle,
They're so
which is so
perfectly-
different because they're not online either.
No.
Also, how many fucking routines do they have? Remember?
I asked him, I was like, so like you guys are going to get something great out of this, whether it's you deserve a TV show, more importantly a tour or a
Yeah.
residency.
Residency.
I
And
would
go,
love to see a Netflix special.
And I go,
Yes.
yeah, for sure. And I go, like, if somebody just walked up to you, which they will after this, and go, you have a show, I go, how many sketches do you have ready? And I'm expecting them to go like 30, 40. And Paul goes, 300 to 400.
It's
of things like
of
that.
things like that.
Yeah.
Of
where it's
things
all
that
pantomime,
special and
fucking
insane.
special,
Yes.
awesome, funny shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
These guys are amazing.
They're
That's
unreal.
insane.
Also, I will say,
They've been doing it for 20 plus
They've
years.
been doing it for 20
together.
years. They're so talented. And the thing that I love the most about
crazy.
them was that they were so universally funny. You know what I mean? Where it's like you
Yeah.
don't. There's no language thing. There's no like. There's no any like millennial things understanding it. No, like it's physical comedy. It's like Marx Brothers. It's vaudevillian.
And it transcends language.
Yes.
Like they could go anywhere
It's
and do that
so
show, and everyone would be
good.
into it.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I loved the most about it is that I was like, we don't.
They're
need
the
to
hieroglyphics of
understand.
comedy.
They are the hieroglyphics of comedy.
Yep. No
and
matter
everyone
where,
loves.
no matter who sees hieroglyphics, you always know how to read them. You're
Exactly.
like, that makes sense to me.
And they're always so. And they're always
There's
so
one thing I
fun
know
to
about
look at.
hieroglyphics.
Yeah, and it's
And it's fun, yeah.
hours of entertainment.
Yeah.
Hieroglyphics.
They only perform in pyramids in sandy areas.
Yeah.
No, they
they're
really
great,
are
yeah.
so and then to know that like because their act is so silent and so that then to know that like behind the scenes they are some of the funniest quick-witted humans
Oh, they're just in
alive.
sync.
That
They're-
made me
yeah.
so happy to just be
I,
like, oh
um,
yeah, if you anything and you'd be wonderful.
There was a moment where we were all doing. We had a reality moment, and it was. I don't know if Ellie, if you were there, but Joe, you were there. It might have been the three of us, and then I don't know where you were, Lee.
I was getting dressed into something. That was the constant journey. Is that like you guys would be ready to go, and they'd be like, "Oh, Lee, we need 4 more hours to turn her into a human."
No, they were doing this thing where I was like sitting in this chair over in the bar, and I wasn't on camera.
Yeah.
But the cameras were on Joe and Chris and Paul and Elliot. And the girl was like, why don't you guys just stand around this pillar here and just pretend to talk to each other? But don't really talk to each other and don't be loud. And it was like, okay.
But don't make a bit out of it. Look
Don't- 'cause we
sincere,
can't
but
hear
be
you.
silent.
Don't
but
move
ju-
your mouth.
And not funny.
Yeah.
Just talk. Talk, but not loud.
And not funny.
And not funny. And it's like, oh shit. So it was one of those moments. And the cameras and the guy with the boom mic is all up in your guys' faces, and you're standing there, and it's like the 9th fucking piece of content we'd had to do
That they
back
won't
there.
use, that will never
that they
be
won't
used.
use.
Yeah.
And we're all just being assholes because we're tired and we're uncomfortable and we're babies. And literally, like, there was this moment of silence, and I'm just sitting in the chair, and I had a big, good fart lined up. Were you there for that?
I was there for
he
that.
wasn't there. I was
Joe,
there.
you were there for
I
that.
saw the aftermath
And
of
Chris
it.
and Paul were standing right in
God, I
the
love
firing lane, and one of the guys was like, hey, why don't you guys do something funny? And Joe was like, what? And then I just went, "Brr!" Like I let out the loudest fucking fart, and Chris and Paul just lost it. And everyone started cracking up laughing, and I was like, okay, now they have their shot. Because
Yeah.
they have everyone laughing.
Yeah, they have everyone
Like
just
having a good,
cackling.
right? Like genuinely laughing.
Yeah.
So I really hope they use that.
You
got the
destroyed
job
the
done.
tension.
The tension just, yeah, and Paul was
And
like,
it
thank
was-
God you did that, man,
Dude,
because
it
I
was
was just
the
so sick of this shit.
Cartooniest fart that you've ever done, too. It was like a dynamic banter sound effect.
Yeah.
God.
Dude, but then later on, we were backstage in one of those like producer rooms with all the mirrors in it, backstage at the Alex Theater, and Chris and Paul were in there, and I was in there for a sec getting like something out of my bag or whatever, and I was gonna go use the restroom around the corner, and Paul's just going, bah, 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 bah. Like he just keeps doing it. And it's funny, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And then finally I start to leave the room, and then I hear him go, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Like a perfect 2 farts in the same tempo, like fucking perfect. And Paul's like, what the fuck? And I came back in and I was like, you motherfucker, I heard that. And he was like, oh shit, you heard that. And we were all freaking out. It was just like such cut
It was
from the
summer
same
camp.
cloth.
It was summer camp.
It's summer
Yeah.
It was summer
It
camp
was
with
full-
with your best friends,
Yeah,
essentially.
full same cloth. Yeah. God, I love it.
Yeah.
There's so many things. And so
Yeah,
good.
Ali Sadiq was known for being very quiet, reserved, and everyone was a little scared of him. And and then at one point we were filming something at the very end of the day, and they kept doing the one more shot. We're doing one more shot, and like Steve was saying, we were being babies and a little, like things are hard sometimes. Being on TV is hard.
Yeah.
And but it was definitely tiring. And they had us do one more thing, and friggin' Ollie from the corner of those doors just bursts out laughing, and he goes, they got you again. You're having to do it again. I was like, yeah, Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ali would get a little loopy, and then he would start to just say things, and that's when it got really
Yeah,
funny.
that's when you were
'cause
like-
he stuck to
Because
he stuck
would
to
leave so
himself.
quick. And we did the rehearsal for when they were going to announce the winner. At the very end, Ollie gets up and he's just walking out, and Chris is like, "Come on, Ollie, you don't want to hang out for a little bit? You want to hang out with us? We can spend some time together." And I was like, "No, Ollie's in his car. He's
gone.
I mean,
We know
Ollie was like imagine being in a room with all these fucking
totally,
goofballs, dude.
yeah. I mean, it's
Takara at one point was like, Lou Burger, shut the fuck up.
Because they kept singing. That was my favorite. Because it was a real moment. And Takara's so sweet. And they kept singing. And then literally she goes, okay, it's done now.
It's
You're
a-
done.
it's a
And then
lot.
They were like, oh no, are we there? And she's like, we're there. We are very there. You're done now. It was
Because
so
she's
good.
like,
We're
imagine
very
being in a
there.
room with us
Imagine being- yeah,
assholes, man.
She's just like, all right, you're done now. You're very
We're
done.
doing fucking voices and yelling and
Singing
screaming and
and
laughing
everything.
and farting and burping, and we're just monsters.
Yeah. It was a full monster.
Of course it's annoying as fuck.
Takara's being so patient. And she's like, and you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Thank you so much.
stand up comedians they're business
Very
people,
insular, yeah.
and it's they know what they want to do with their time. They have a path that they're going on, and
Yes.
it's like loud and they
Yeah.
can't get in their own heads and do their process because we're over here doing wacky bullshit. Our other brothers in arms from the show were JK Studios.
I'm Pink. I like to think. Reading's so great, I forget to blink.
I'm Red. I live in a shed. Singing is fun. And Tupac's alive.
Yes, sir.
They fit
God,
right
I
in with
love
our little
them.
dynamic
They
as
did.
well, and very friendly people, and we love them.
So
and
kind and so wonderful, and so I mean, they're just good people, just straight up good
Great.
people.
We have a your show to film, so we should cut this. We should cut this off.
Oh, can I
but
say? I will say. Can I say
closing
this?
thoughts?
Let's do some
Closing
final thoughts. Yeah.
Final thoughts.
My final. Well, there's a lot of final thoughts, but I do want to say something like, I want to say thank you to our patrons and to our people, our folks, if you will, for being so patient with us during this process. Because genuinely, there's been things that like we
I'm
haven't
just
been
kidding.
able
You're
to
right.
put things up early. We haven't been able to do things. We've had to like, wait on putting things up and talking about things. And I just want to say once again, like, one, the love was overwhelming. We felt it. It was so special. And so genuinely that feeling was more than I've ever wanted or needed to feel, and it felt amazing. But just knowing how supportive you guys have been since day one, since announcing this, which it could have been very like, oh my God, are they doing this? Why are they doing this? But instead you guys were there with us, and that felt so special. It didn't feel like Elliot said, it didn't feel like it was just us doing this. It felt like it was us taking you all with us. And you were so patient, and you were so wonderful, and so just like supportive, and that's just something that I don't think I have words to ever.
Yeah, we don't have this
We don't-
without you
yes,
guys.
we don't.
didn't do this without you.
No.
We literally didn't.
There's
you
definitely a
guys
thing of,
were,
like-
were there with us up on stage, 100%.
Yeah,
It's very
and
special to feel that.
Even
So
with
thank
the
you.
sketches and what we were doing, it was like we wanted to make you guys proud,
Yeah.
because it wouldn't be a thing if you weren't doing it. And I think that was a nice guiding light the entire
Mm-hmm.
time, rather than flailing and just sort of being like, I guess people will think this is funny. Maybe I think we kind of had this whole litmus test of like, if you guys like, if this is true to us and you guys would see it and think it's true to us, then we're in a good spot regardless of what happens. So,
Yeah,
thanks.
that's the truth.
My final thought, Steve, in my opinion, you are absolutely the MVP of this entire process
baby.
on
Baby.
a competitive team sport thing. You're not going to get any more money because of it, but
you better tear up.
truly from
Tear up.
your performance as the cowboy is,
yeah,
I think, the best
perfection.
thing you've
Thank
ever
you,
done.
man.
I'm coming into this bar right now. I'm looking for the man what done round it out and ground out how.
I
Yeah.
think
Level.
the ability that you had to come up with that bit, including Robot Doctor from Dynamic Banter with Mike Falzone, from your performance with Mole People to reaching out to people for support, like Elijah Daniels,
Yeah.
setting up the stream. You showed up so much, and I'm very proud.
job,
and-
Bubby.
Baby.
Good job, Bubby.
baby.
Man, it's you deserve to be really, really proud of yourself. I mean, we all do, but
Yeah.
like everyone in the building, Kate and Kevin, Ryan, everyone is beautiful and wonderful. But yeah, you definitely.
Elliot,
Feel
thank
proud of
you.
yourself, yeah.
I will take that and I will awkwardly shuffle it around today.
Yeah, Ryan, cut that out
Yeah.
of the podcast for us.
Yeah, Ryan, if you
Please do.
could.
Oh,
That was just for Steven, no
Self-
one else.
Can I plug a stand-up date? Do you guys
Wait,
want
well,
to
hold
plug
on.
a
Of course we
stand-up
can.
date?
Yeah, do that and then I'll
Yeah,
move
of course.
Okay, I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm going to be in Detroit. I'm going to be in Detroit October 2nd. I'm going to be Chicago October 3rd at Shuba's Tavern. I'm going to be Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Detroit on October 2nd. I'd love for folks to come. I'm also going to be at
funsies.
Springfield, Massachusetts on November 1st and 2nd with, I think, Alex Clark featuring, who's really awesome YouTuber, animator person. So anyway, thank
maybe
I'm
you.
gonna
while
be
you're in
Spokane in October. It's not for anything. I just want everyone to know.
And that's
You
good.
might want to cut that part out.
That's my old
Yeah.
stomping grounds. Continuing.
You don't
our
want
thank
people
you,
coming for you.
Our thank you tour. I want to also big old shout outs to our hordes of employees that held
Yes,
the
hordes.
fort down.
Hordes?
Hordes.
Our whorish
Our-
employees.
Yes, that held the fort down
Yeah,
over the last
quite
few months and
honestly.
helped us out with filming these sketches, but also just doing the work behind the scenes. So thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kevin.
Also the
and
patience,
Ryan,
like,
who
2
has jumped
a.m.
on
and 1
recently with the
a.m.
podcast
Yeah,
and all
buddy.
of that, and helping out with streams and
Ryan Fabroke it.
graphics.
Yeah, for broke it.
For broke it.
for broke it.
Real funny. Ryan Fabroke.
Because he kept breaking all of our tripods on Dynamic Banter, so Mike calls O'Brien for Brokey.
For Brokey.
And then I want there to be so many sounds in here that I don't even remember what they all do. God.
Oh, weird. Ryan broke something.
Holy fuck.
Ryan for broke something.
So thank you guys. We really appreciate that.
Yes, genuinely.
Ditto to Joe. We love you guys. Again, you guys were up on stage with us in our hearts. We're so forever thankful for you all, and we're so excited to bring you the next level of Valleyfolk entertainment,
can't
whatever
wait.
that is. But we're gonna ride this motherfucking wave high and hard, baby, and we'll see what happens. But no matter what, we're going to try to do our best to continue to be ourselves and not make any compromises for our comedy and for who we are. And we'll try to do our best to entertain you still.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the truth.
Beautifully put.
All right. Well, we
Thanks,
love
guys.
you guys. Thank you. And we'll catch you next time on the Valleycast. Bye-bye.
Where's the cat?